Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to break down the Nitro Skylab TLS. Their speed zone, kind of all mountain to backcountry use boot that has a wider fit to it. We're going to go through all the different tech features in it. We're going to go through how you can expect it to break down, kind of what you can expect from the ride of it, but this is not a review. We're not going out and riding this. Why? Because the best boot is the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. Some of the more obvious features, you do have this hoop at the back to help pull on. There is neoprene in the cutout back here so that there is a little bit less calf bite. Also, on the back spine of this boot, it is a little bit lower where its rebound point is. One thing to talk about is the back spine on this boot is actually lower, so it stops. This is gonna help with the articulation, especially when you're in the skin trap or you're out hiking. You're just gonna notice that it's got a little more flex, and while it does have some rebound, it won't have as much. This is gonna allow for you just to flex back in there as well. When it comes to the toe box of this boot, you got rubber in the fore of it, and then you've got this fabric that covers over everything else. This is gonna be a little bit more durable. I think over time your edge would kind of break through this fabric and wear it down. Same thing with the gusset that protects your laces, but by the time it does that, the boot's probably actually clapped out. I do like that there's no real seams here for this to blow out on, so you don't have to worry about getting weird pinch points initially. You probably will down the road. If you're doing a lot of hiking in this boot, it's gonna get a crease point right on the outside. But overall, the design of this is designed to protect it when you're just hitting the edge of your boot on the chairlift into it. For those of you going in the backcountry or doing a lot of hiking, you do have this gusset over the top. It has Velcro on it and then a zipper to open it up. This does open up wider than other ones I've seen from other brands, which is nice. The only thing I don't like is the Velcro flap is kind of worthless. The good thing is it's high enough that this neoprene here will help keep the snow out. That's a good thing in there. I think this will protect. Over time though, I could see if you're resting your board across the top of your boot, this is gonna wear out on you as well. Are you shopping online for boots? Well, you shouldn't, but I understand that some people have to do this because they don't have a good shop or they don't have a shop at all. So hopefully this boot breakdown will give you an idea of what you need to be looking for. And in case you are shopping online, you know what we did for you? We put a bunch of affiliate links down in the description below from reputable shops that we trust. That way we know that we can help get you guided towards the boot that fits your foot and fits your needs. This is going to be a little bit of a stiffer boot, but it does have an articulated cuff that's going to allow with more forward flexion in it. So you do have this little spine to help add some rigidity to give you more power and performance, but it's not as high as other boots. And this was done in part because they want you to use this boot in the skin track for backcountry for all you split boarders out there. So that's going to allow for just a little bit more ease, especially when you're skinning. Or skiing. Don't go skiing. You know who you are. Snowboard only. With the Skylab TLS, you have a zonal speed zone lacing system. So you have an upper and a lower underneath this gusset here. So if you open this up, you can actually see that you do have laces in there. And what that's going to do is allow for more customization if you want it snugger or looser on the lower or the upper. One of the cool things about the TLS system that Nitro doesn't talk about is you can actually take this piece off that tightens it down if it breaks or it malfunctions, and you can actually tie this like a regular boot if you absolutely have to. Do I recommend doing it? No, I took this apart earlier. I will not be showing you guys how to do that. Whew. That is some next level stuff. You need to go to a shop to get that fixed. Yeah. With this being a speed zone boot, you do have little pockets back here just to tuck that in after you pull it tight so they're not dangling. If you find that this is just a little too long, you can always just roll them up like that and then slide them in. That way they fit a little bit better. The sole of the boot does have Vibram with Eco Step, so you're getting a better sole that's going to grip better. It's just going to lock in when you're hiking around in there. EcoStep is a 30% recycled material, which is cool to see. You get that in there. It's got a good tread. This should be pretty good for hiking and just gripping on snow. In the heel of the boot, you do have an air dampening system. This is going to absorb chatter and just dissipate some of that kinetic energy underfoot. This should work in conjunction with the insole in your boot. All right, so we're about halfway through this boot breakdown, and I need you to do something for me. Go down, click that thumbs up for me. While you're there, if you haven't subscribed, why don't you? Click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for you. You have the new Cloud 9 liner. This is a fully heat moldable liner, and I do recommend getting this heat molded. I think this will absolutely help with the fit of your people, especially if you're trying to get a little more room out of the toe box, or you just need to get some room right where your ankle bones are. Heat molding would definitely be the way to go with it. With the Cloud 9 liner, the harness is actually sewn into the shell of the boot. I really like that because that just makes it tighten around the liner more, and it creates a more uniform flex in there that's more snug. But they put the locking mechanism for the liner on the tongue, so you crisscross that and pull it up. This will help cinch this down and really get that tongue tight around your shin. The nice thing with this liner is the stitching. They put it really out there so that it's not gonna hit on the sides of the foot. You may feel a little bit right there, but when I stick my hand in there, this seam is on the outside, there's nothing in there. You do have a neoprene toe as well, so that way if you have a longer index or middle toe, it'll push out a little bit for you. On the outside of the liner, you have an outline of where the J-bars actually go, but those are all for show. All your J-bar is on the inside of this, and these have a very deep, aggressive heel pocket. This is really gonna grip, but looking at the other Nitro boots, this one tends to be just a little bit wider back there in the heel, so if you got a little bit of a thicker Achilles or a thicker ankle, this may be a boot that works for you. Remember, the best boot is the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. You have a lot of foam at the top. Now, I know most people are like, so what? A lot of foam at the top. If you are a bigger guy, which this is a wider fitting boot, you tend to have a bigger calf. And if you do, this foam, when you heat it up, is going to expand and then cradle around that calf. So you're not going to get as much calf bite with it. That's one of the things that I like with it. The other thing that they do is they put a reflective tape in the bottom. That's going to help reflect heat back into the foot. It's going to keep your foot warmer in the long run. This does work. I've seen it work. I've used boots with it, so I do agree with that. With the stock insole, it's better than some, but it's still just replace this thing. This thing is super thick, which is really weird because it's not really cradling your foot. Just get rid of it, get an aftermarket, you'll thank me for it. That's gonna have a better fit, especially if you go full custom or even just an off-the-shelf aftermarket. You can do a little bit more work to it than you could with a stock insole. Like what we're doing over here? Want to support us further? Swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. Nitro claims that this boot is a 7 of 10 flex. Flex ratings really mean fuck all in the grand scheme of things, and here's why. All right, if I take someone that's 6 feet tall and 250 pounds and put them in a 9.5 boot, because that's what fits them, or I take someone that's 5'6" and 130 pounds, they're gonna flex it entirely different. It's a guide, but it doesn't matter. It is a heavier boot though, and I think a lot of that comes from just the material choice that they use and what they're designing this for. So be aware of it. Normally I don't really notice boot weight as an issue, but picking this up, I was like, wow, okay, this is a little bit heavier than normal. So for you guys that skip leg day and don't eat your muscle cheese, be aware of that. It does have a slightly wider forefoot, so this is probably one of the wider boots made from Nitro. I don't know, they only sent 4 over for us to really look at. All right, did you learn what all the tech is inside the Nitro Skylab TLS? Maybe this is the boot for you, maybe it's not. If it's not, why don't you go check out one of our other boot breakdowns to help guide you towards the proper fitting boot that you need.